Did I get shampoo in my eyes or is it just my pain face? Hello team, welcome to the news and you decide. I've definitely made that face in the shower when getting soap in my eyes. That's why now I use bars of soap. I actually really like using the bar of soap, you know? Learning about me. Also, just a quick appreciation for that delt and the long bicep vein. Some may say, you put 1,000 of those, it can reach around the world. Anyway team, hello, and we are back. The athletes are coming out of bloom. Summer bloom, summer rest. And we're here to talk about it because there's a couple of competitions coming up and there's a couple of things that have happened. So sit back, smash that like button, and let's go. First off, you like dogs, I like dogs. We all like dogs. And since the CrossFit Games, there has been 2 new additions to the sides of a couple of Games athletes. One of them is this guy. Look at them ears. The little paw on the shoulder. Yep, Laura Horvath has got herself a corgi since the CrossFit Games. No better way to spend your winnings. Little bundle of joy. But yeah, there was this video posted of it in the footwell of the car. And all I can think about is that song. Sometimes my lips, sometimes get stuck on my teeth. Lips get stuck on my teeth. It's really cute, that one. And then the Shred Shed has a new addition. It looks like a golden lab. It looks like a little Andrex puppy. You know, like a little, ooh. It is a cute one. Just in with it, look at that smile. I feel like golden retrievers have the best smiley faces, especially as puppies. Damn, so cute. To the legend that sent me this engagement cake, look at that. Because he lives in his Hustle t-shirt, they put him in a Hustle t-shirt on the engagement cake. I love that. Thank you to whichever legend. I can't find the message in my phone, but legend, whoever you are, made me smile. Anyway, next up, James Newbury. Kind of set a gymnastics challenge this week. On his Instagram, he posted that he did 90 unbroken toaster bar. 90. I don't know what would give up more, your grip or your core. He said in the post that his goal was 100, but it was still 20 reps more than he's ever done. And yeah, he said, I'm putting out the toaster bar challenge. So I wanted to share it here too. I want to see one of you legends somewhere tag me in a video on Instagram of 100 unbroken toaster bar and be an absolute gymnastics ninja. But 90 is astonishing. That's a big ass number. That is a big number. I remember when I did 10 every minute on the minute for 10 minutes, and that was hard enough. Now, moving on, probably the biggest bit of news to come out of the past couple of weeks was that Roman Krenikov spoke out on Instagram, kind of saying that Jeffrey Adler wasn't good. He's just not happy.
He did not look happy.
Hey babe, get up. Roman's talking on Instagram again. That was quite a fun meme. Long story short, his post said unsportsmanlike conduct, playing dirty with a thumbs down. Putting it real brief, he said the rule section C paragraph of the rule book requires all athletes to compete in a sportsmanlike manner. And the fittest man on earth wins because he is the most physically prepared. If you think you can get into my head with strategy that your coach and you will think will work, then I'm sorry to disappoint you. Next time, I hope you pay better attention to the rule book and try to get fitter versus dirty games. And actually tagged Jeffrey Adler. Everyone wanted to know what happened, and people don't fully know what happened, but there has been a couple of things that it may be about. So here comes a little bit of drama. The first and most obvious one was kind of like this comment, which basically during the games, Adler talked in interviews, Buttery Bros, mine, Talking Elite Fitness, about his strategy being to push Roman in certain parts of a workout to weaken his overall performance. That did happen. There was then something that was brought up on the Savon podcast that people were talking about. They were saying that Adler shoved Roman at some point during the run, to which Jeff said there was a big pylon in front and he was just telling him to move over and left him loads of space.
Legit, like 6 feet in front of the line. And if we would have started squeezed through the fence, he would have been stuck behind everyone. So both of us, we were like, no, like we're not starting here. We're moving. And I was fine because it was only in front of him. And I could have just said nothing and say like, well, you're going to get stuck and I'm jetting and you're gone. But I was pushing the guys beside, and I think I had Chandler Smith right beside me. And I was like, Chandler, squeeze back to leave him space. And I said to Roman, like, I'm going to leave you space. I'm not going to push you and trip you in the thing.
And then the third thing that was brought up right at the end, apparently Adler made him go to the row before the box, confusing him a little bit.
What about on the row? Were you chirping him on the row? There was also stories that you were chirping him on the row.
Oh, yeah? I made him miss. I made him go to the row before he hit the box. That was me. Fine.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't hurt me. Sorry.
You make your mind up. I think Chase Ingram said this right on the Talking Elite Fitness podcast.
Well, listen, as the only one that played sports during color TV on this panel, I think the reference says someone who was born in the 80s and grew up playing sports in the 90s, trash talk was the most fun part of doing sports. And the best trash talk was like rec leagues after you retired from being an athlete in a local, city sports flag football game. And I love that about sports as a way to get someone off their game.
Talking a little bit of smack makes the sport. Arnie, he was the king of doing that.
Or if, let's say, he's a few percent better as I am, I spent with him one night. I go downstairs and book us together in a room. But by the time the night is over, the next morning, he will be ready to lose.
Surely they should have it in a month for him. He's not even in shape yet. I mean, he didn't get the timing right, I'm telling you.
Conor McGregor.
I don't talk trash, I speak the truth. I've spoken about Dustin's weirdly shaped head. He has a P-shaped head. His chin has certainly deteriorated. Every single contest he is in, he gets wobbled, he does the chicken dance on a jab.
You hear it all the time in football, how they're just like,
I'm coming all day. I'm coming all day. Yep, Tommy, it's coming all day. Come on, watch.
Taunting the opposition. It's a way to get in people's heads, and it's part of sport. Especially competitive when you're going against someone else, you have to beat them. Being physically fitter and better is one thing, but being mentally tougher and playing with their head a little bit, it's part and parcel. So if this post was just about the trash talking and trying to get in Roman's head, I feel like it could be a little soft. But if there was anything more sinister, then this comment on the post kind of summed it up. Need to know more context. But let me know what you think down in the comments below about the whole thing. Also, I think trash talking in CrossFit is actually pretty hard, especially with, you have to back it up. And CrossFit is a very back it up sport. It's not like you can land a punch and knock someone out, or you can give someone a big hit. It's interesting. It is just more about the mind games and playing the game whilst at the games, or in the competition that you're in. Moving on. Anyway, let's talk about the competition schedule coming up. As the athletes come out of hibernation, Rogue. That's the first one happening from the 27th to the 29th of October. With a current prize purse of $1.533 million, with last year's winners taking home a grand prize first place of $218,000. So other than the CrossFit Games, this is the biggest prize purse that you can win in the sport of CrossFit. After a little bit of leaderboard mumbo jumbo, Mambo number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was people that submitted videos and then scores got altered, and then there was a glitch in the back system between two scores, basically meaning that the people that qualified from the online qualifier shifted around a couple of times after being announced, and now they're taking 6 of them instead of 5. This is the athlete roster that will be there. Now obviously a big name missing there is last year's winner, Justin Medeiros, who has apparently declined his offer, but basically how it works at the Rogue Invitational is if you finish at the top 15 at the CrossFit Games, you get an invite. And then there's usually 5 qualifying spots on the male and the female side, so then that makes the field 20 of each. This was put out by the Barbell Spin. As you can see, a few athletes haven't yet confirmed if they're going to compete or not. Both CrossFit Games champs have not yet been confirmed, and we've heard the news that Katrin Davidsdottir, even though on this post she has been confirmed, she had a post on Instagram, on the Rogue Instagram, removed, so she may not be competing. Anyway, it's going to be a showdown, star-studded showdown. That's one thing we can guarantee, and there's a lot of big names. Also, final thing on the Rogue Invitational, one, I think on that unconfirmed list it said Patrick Vellner, but he put this on Instagram, so I really feel like he is going to be there. 2, he has given us a hand update since the CrossFit Games. You remember the cornflakes that we talked about? Damn. But now hands look fresh. Even for a CrossFit standard, I mean, they're pretty fresh. Speaking on the Davis daughter thing, since the CrossFit Games, I've actually seen that she has been on safari and she has been wakeboarding and kind of like living life. So maybe she just, if she isn't competing, wants that little bit more downtime. And I feel like Justin Medeiros coming off the back of the CrossFit Games, maybe, you know, like it's just one of those things. Competitions take away from training time. You know, you have to ramp up to a competition, and then after a competition, because you hit it hard, the intensity is more. You may take a week or two to recover, which then gets in the way of a good block of training. You know, like a usual block of training is 8 to 12 weeks. Ramping up, competition, ramping down. You could be losing 4 or 5 of those really easily. Anyway, on to the next competition that we have some news around. Wodapalooza, the party in Miami. January the 11th to 14th, 2024, we've had the prize purse announced. $576,000, and the winner, the elite individual winner, gets $75,000 of that, and there's a prize purse all the way down to 10th, which is $1,000, which most athletes, that won't cover your flight and your accommodation. But there's also the elite team of 3, and there is money in the masters division for the winners, RX teams, the adaptive and the Latin America Cup. But the one thing I wanted to talk about here is that the online qualifier workouts have been released, and there's one of them that I really like the look of, and when I read it, I was like, that is cool. Really cool. And it's the weightlifting one. But honestly, I think it's one of the best programmed weightlifting like qualifiers I've seen. 1 snatch into 2 hang snatches, and then the tiebreaker is the overhead squats. And I think that's cool. I think like it's a good multitude of reps in terms of just 3. You're still testing strength and some solid technique. But then the tiebreaker of the overhead squats brings in your positioning, your endurance, a little bit of grit, you know? And I think if you do a massive set of overhead squats, then the next weight, you know, if you were like, oh, maybe I could have added 5 pounds, you probably won't get it. So it's a good test. Hats off. And then finally, let's talk about Madrid. It just happened the past weekend, and it was the first run out of Noah Olsen as part of a team. He was with Chandler Smith, Lena Richter from Team Oslo, and Sydney from the demo team, and they took the win. And speaking of last year, Noah did say it was his last individual year, very much hinted at team with Chandler. Is this the start of something new? Because if it is, it went well. And winning Madrid on the female side, Karen Freyova, and on the male side, Lazar Djukic, both taking home 30,000 euros. Also at Madrid, we did see a new implement used. It's like a bar for double unders rather than holding the rope. I'm gonna ask you your thoughts on it. What do you think about this new implement? And then in a load of other bits of news, we've had the announcement that CrossFit is being programmed every 2 weeks by different guest programmers. It started off with Dave Castro. Currently, it's Adrian Bosman, who's going to be next. In some athlete news, we've had the news that Kelsey Keel and Jorge Fernandez, both very established team athletes, are trying their luck next year at chasing the individual side. But one person that won't be chasing any sort of competitive CrossFit next year is Andre Houdet, the 4-time CrossFit Games athlete, last year's team athlete of CrossFit No Shortcuts, took to Instagram saying that it's time for his next chapter. But obviously as a new dad, and he wants to focus more on his businesses, he'll still be around the CrossFit space, but just maybe not as a full-time athlete. Matt and Sammy, the legends that they are, have had their baby Eddie, and I think Matt, I messaged him saying congrats, and he literally said, hold on, thank you brother, it's been such a cool experience, 10 out of 10, would recommend to a friend.
Ask me that question one more time. What's happening over there?
She suckled on my bicep. I know what it's like to be a mother.
Crushing it. Daddy, mom.
So I think he's having a good time. Makes my heart happy. Also, over the past couple of weeks, Josh Bridges has got married. That is a setting and a half. What a beautiful place to have a wedding. Congrats. Jason Hopper's had wisdom tooth surgery. Yeah.
You just...
Fine.
You were just...
I both agree.
Okay, let's not talk too big because you have galls in your mouth. You ready to go home and go to sleep?
He's all right now, back training. And Bailey Martin has asked, out of the 3 individual male athletes that went to the CrossFit Games this year from Australia, everyone vote in the comments who is the best looking. And apparently they're the best photos he could find of each one of them. So whoever wins will start the Torian Pro with 100 points next year, so pick wisely. Let me know down in the comments below. And that is where we're gonna end today's video, team. If you have enjoyed it, please do smash that like button. It really means a lot. I hope you have enjoyed this news video. I love making them, just sometimes you need a few weeks to gather the news. Thank you for Whoop for sponsoring the news videos, the best wearable on the planet, tracking recovery, day strain, stress, sleep, everything you kind of need to know if you're on top of your performance or not. Ready to crush it. Shot hustle made for the sickest clothes in the game and support me being able to make these videos. And if no one's told you today, you're an absolute stinking legend. Stinking legend. I can smell you. It's a bit weird. I've missed you guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Switzerland, by the way. The Switzerland videos are coming. Just I left my camera in Italy. One of my cameras that have a lot of footage on it. So I'm waiting for that to come back, which should be tomorrow. So then I can start putting the video together so it'll be like Tuesday, Wednesday. But it was really cool. If you want to see the last one, click here somewhere. And just a cool little, day traveling, having fun, hanging out. You know what I'm saying?